Hey friends, I've been a fan of the Eagles and Don Henley's solo work for what seems like my whole life, and I bet you have too. But here are some things that I found out along the way that I bet you didn't know. So let's get down to the heart of the matter with 7 interesting facts about Don Henley. Number 1. Don Henley made an album before there was an Eagles. Don was playing in a Texas country rock band when he met Kenny Rogers. Yeah, that Kenny Rogers of Kenny Rogers in the first edition. Kenny was invited out to see them play by Henley's bandmate, Jerry Surratt, and for some reason Kenny actually went, liked what he saw, and decided to help them out. Now that band went through several name changes, including Felicity and the Four Speeds. Just before releasing their first single, unfortunately Surratt died in a dirt bike accident. The band continued on, changed their name to Shiloh, and Mr. Rogers, not that Mr. Rogers, this Mr. Rogers, took them to California with him to help record their full album. Don Henley and his friends actually lived with Kenny in California for several months. Number 2. That Shiloh album went basically nowhere, but you have to admire any band that titles one of their songs Simple Little Down Home Rock and Roll Love Song for Rosie. Yeah, it's kind of hard to fit all of that on a 45. Do I have your attention yet? Great. Hit that like button and we'll move on to number 3, Sunset Grill. Sunset Grill was a real place on Sunset Boulevard. It existed from 1957 to 1997 before being sold, torn down, and rebuilt. Number 4, Hotel California is not a real place, technically. There are hotels that now use that name, although they have nothing to do with the song or inspiration or any of that stuff. The picture on the cover is actually of the Beverly Hills Hotel, shot to look slightly sinister. Number 5, a young Sheryl Crow sang backup on the End of the Innocents album and tour. She also added backing vocals to the Garden of Allah on Don's 1995 Greatest Hits album. Melissa Etheridge and Gloria Estefan also appear on some of those 80s Henley songs. How are we doing? Have you learned anything new? If so, hit that subscribe button so you won't miss out on other famous people videos, and we'll move on to number 6. Don Henley was a member of Guns N' Roses, at least for one night. Having the same record label can sometimes make for strange bedfellows. Now, if you listen close, you can hear Axl wailing in the background on Henley's song, I Will Not Go Quietly. As far as being a member of Guns N' Roses, at the 1989 AMA Music Awards, Don Henley filled in on drums to do a live version of Patience. Number 7. While we all know Don Henley was the Eagles' drummer, Henley himself plays drums on very little of his solo stuff. Now, among the many different drummers Henley used on his solo records are the late Jeff Porcaro of Toto and Stan Lynch from Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. So that sums it up. 7 things you may not have known about Don Henley. I hope you learned something new, and I hope you'll click that subscribe button so you'll be notified when new videos come out that you may be interested in. Take care.